Take the picture back. I need to get a cup of coffee, but I really
don't. This is Major General Clay Comfort. He's a Kansas native, lives in Lawrence now. He's retired U.S. Marine Corps, and he has, on his own, decided to tour Kansas and tell people why he supports the Clinton-Gore ticket. And so the purpose for this tonight is to give us a chance to hear from somebody from another walk of life and why they support, why he supports Bill Clinton and Al Gore, and to give him a chance to hear from you. And so at this point, I'd like to turn the floor over to General Comfort.
My back to anyone. I don't want to ignore anyone, please. As was mentioned, I was born and raised up in Ottawa County and went to KU and joined the Marine Corps when I graduated from KU a long time ago. I don't want to tell you how long ago that was, but I'll put this reference point on it. I was at KU 4 years and I never saw KU beat OU till last week. 2 weeks ago I had an opportunity to travel to Philadelphia and meet with 21 other flag officers, generals and admirals, and to meet with Governor Clinton and to join him at a press conference in Philadelphia to endorse his candidacy for President of the United States. I ran into some old friends and some very august military personages that I've had an opportunity to serve under and work with. Former Chiefs of Staff of the Army, Admiral Bill Corral was recently chairman of the Joint Chiefs under President Reagan, and whom President Bush had asked to stay on but chose not to. And we got together and made the basis of our endorsement of Governor Clinton as simply, we can't have a strong defense in this country and be a first-class world power unless we have an opportunity to restore the economic vitality to our nation and to repair the tears in our social fabric that have occurred over these past 12 years. We can't have a strong foreign policy unless we have credibility as a democracy first, and we certainly must have the economic strength and the military strength to back up any foreign policy. So Governor Clinton, we think, knows what the first step must be in order to have a strong foreign policy. It doesn't do much good for President Bush to talk about having experience in foreign policy, because experience will get you nowhere, he discovered in Japan, if you don't have economic strength. We think that Governor Clinton brings the intellect, the vision, especially the vision, and certainly the energy and the willingness to govern. You have to be willing to engage with the Congress, both sides of the aisle, and talk with them, and work with them, and work with them, and talk with them in order to solve the problems our country faces. And we've seen him do that in his 12 years as governor. He's worked with people from both sides of the aisle. He's shown us that he works effectively with the other governors in a collegial atmosphere. He works with the mayors, all of the people that must be worked with to put people first again in this country. He wants to end the divisiveness that's occurred, and he wants to bring everybody onto this team. We can't continue to be a competitor in the world economy if we discount 25 to 30% of our populace and ignore them and fail to make them productive, and on top of that incur the social costs attendant to that neglect. We simply can't be a competitor with countries that use all of their people in the understanding that people are your most important natural resource. And we only have to look to Japan and Germany and countries like that. Japan doesn't have any natural resources except their people. And look how competitive they are. We've got to do that if we're going to have a strong defense and maintain our position as the #1 world power. We can't have credibility in advancing democracy abroad if we ignore democracy for a third of our population. And the military leaders that joined with me, I joined with them, however you want to put it, 2 weeks ago in Philadelphia, understand that. We're strong on defense, and we're strong on Bill Clinton because we think the Clinton-Gore team is a first team. We can't afford to have mediocre leadership let this country drift any further. And as I've chosen to do before other audiences today, I'd like to put it in nautical terms. I'll claim that right because I'm a member of the Naval Service. This ship of state is in shoal water, heading for the rocks, and the guy at the helm keeps saying steady as she goes. Folks, it's time to put somebody else at the helm and get this ship into navigable waters. And Bill Clinton and Senator Gore can do that. They're the first team.
Coming all the way out here to see us.
My pleasure.
Tomorrow you'll be in Dodge City and the rest of western Kansas, as I understand it, and this is a sacrifice on your part, we know, and we truly do appreciate what you're doing for the country.
I feel it's a duty. You know, I've got 3 kids, and I want them to have some opportunity, and I want their kids to have some. And I know you feel the same way.
I'll let you meet these folks. Did you want to do an interview before we got too deep into this, or could you get sound on that okay?
Yeah.
I'd like to ask if anyone in the audience has any questions that concern them about things that have gone on the last few days or something that I might be able to answer.
There's been a lot of misinformation, of course, spread by Bush, and one of the things that, since you're a military man, that I think people are interested in hearing is what is the military attitude to Governor Clinton as far as his defense policies and the program he's put together?
Governor Clinton published in December a very clear, concise, and coherent package that outlines his view of where we should be going with respect to foreign policy and national defense. And I had an opportunity to review that and to comment on it last January. And as I told the people on his team, I could support any part of it or all of it as a whole. I did offer some comments, and I think those comments were listened to. Governor Clinton has an ability to surround himself with people who are willing to say what's on their mind. He listens, and he understands, and he makes decisions based on hearing from everyone. He's not a shoot the messenger kind of person. He listens to people. His defense package is a good package. You wouldn't have so many generals and admirals endorsing Governor Clinton if we worried at all about his position on defense. His opponents have tried to suggest that he's going to cut drastically. That's baloney. He's proposed, or he supports what President Bush is doing presently, or I should say Secretary Cheney and General Powell are proposing and are continuing to cut 100,000 people from our total end strength per year through 95. That brings the armed forces down to about 1.6 million people. Governor Clinton has proposed to continue that 100,000 a year reduction for 2 more years, provided it can be done without tossing anybody out of the service against their will. If it can be done with attrition, can be done following the proposals of Senator Sam Nunn to offer 15-year retirements, reduced from the 20-year, but allowing people to retire with a vested retirement at 15 years. That will be one of the parts of the program that Senator Nunn has proposed, which make a lot of sense to facilitate the reduction of our armed forces to a strength we can maintain with the resources we have. Governor Clinton proposes to get cracking on a theater missile defense so that our forces won't be subjected to missiles 2 generations better than the Scuds that bothered us in Saudi Arabia, missiles that exist in inventories right now. He wants to get cracking on that theater missile defense. He proposes to cut back the space-based Star Wars, which is, right now we're throwing money into space and nobody knows where it's gone. He wants to focus on getting a land-based anti-ballistic missile defense constructed that will be workable within the terms of the existing ABM treaty. He wants to improve our sea lift and airlift so that it won't take us 6 months next time to get the forces somewhere as it did in Saudi Arabia to conduct a war. These are ideas that aren't new. Jimmy Carter did the last thing that was done for sea lift, might add. The ships that got us there, they weren't enough, but at least he started them. We need to do a bunch of those things to improve our mobility. That's one of the keystones of what he wants to focus on, our tactical and strategic mobility. The C-17, high technology stuff. He wants to achieve technological superiority for our military and let that be the framework so that other people in the UN coalitions can provide the manpower, people that don't have the technology. We shouldn't have to provide the manpower for everything. We ought to be providing that technological framework. And he believes in keeping our people the most highly trained military. Right now they are. We've been very fortunate and able to train our people to the highest skill levels we've ever had. But we need to not only train them, but keep the morale high by having provided them with these high technology weapons so they know they have the best stuff. That is the essence of his defense business. It's a coherent plan.
I know Clinton has talked about defense conversion as well as a way of trying to take into account this peace dividend or the end of the Soviet communist empire. Do you know a little bit about what he plans to do in terms of converting some American resources from defense where they've been spent over the last 2 generations into our domestic economy?
Well, we must do it in order to reduce defense expenditures that aren't required. Let me just give you an example. I attended a presentation a couple of weeks ago, a public presentation at the Navy League, where it was pointed out that the present establishment that supports the Navy was designed to support 1,000 ships. Right now we're down to about a 470 or 80 ship Navy, going to about a 450 ship Navy. If the Navy were to park all the ships and send all the people home, discharge them that man those ships, park all their airplanes and send them home and discharge all the people, get rid of every sailor in the Navy, it would still only cut the Navy's part of the defense budget by about 45%. The rest of it is in that shore establishment that's still laying there. So this is something that's built up over 50 years, and that tells you the enormity of the problem. That requires a build down, and that's what Governor Clinton proposes, is over a period of years to build down that establishment to a dimension where the military requirement is matched with the resources available. That same problem is true in the other services. We've been 50 years building that support establishment up for a major war with the Soviet Union, and we have enormous redundancies that are going to be addressed, and they have to be fixed. We can't throw people out on the streets, so there needs to be a plan to convert this technology into the civilian world. These are skilled people. They're not street sweepers. They're high-tech folks with a good education, engineers, scientists, and that sort of thing. But they can be converted and used to provide us the technological edge in the civilian side. Governor Clinton keeps talking about improving our infrastructure. We have a lot of mass transit requirements. We all know they exist. These sorts of things need to be done, can be done, and will be done, but over a period of time.
Recently, somebody attacked Bill Clinton, and I don't know if it was the vice presidential candidate Stockdale, but somebody attacked him for his anti-war activities, saying that that prolonged the war and prolonged the people kept prisoners. I think many of us in my age group were also very strongly against the war and demonstrated. And how do you answer that as the military supporters of Clinton?
Well, I'd like to answer it very thoughtfully. Let me say that I have a great respect for Admiral Stockdale. He paid his dues. But I think his perspective is a little bit limited. The only news he received for 6 years was news of protests in the United States fed to him by his tormentors. It's very difficult to make the leap from student protest to prolonging the war when compared with the length of that war, but particularly the misdirection, indirection, lack of strategy, lack of objective, lack of a coherent plan that was endemic to that war at the highest levels of our government. Our government prolonged that war for 10 years because they had no idea where they were going. I went out there twice. I felt I was there for a noble purpose, and I still do, and I'd go back again. We wanted to bring the opportunity of the South Vietnamese students to protest. And we fought for people to be able to protest here. The students didn't prolong the war. Admiral Stockdale, I would respectfully suggest, is very mistaken. The war was prolonged because nobody in this government had any idea how to prosecute the war. I think we discovered when President Nixon finally sent the B-52s to Hanoi that it ended it in a week. And if people had followed the advice of the senior leaders in the Pacific in 1965, that's precisely what they would have done then. And it would have been over very shortly, and we wouldn't have lost 50,000 lives. So the highest levels of our government are why that war was prolonged. The detachment of the American people and not calling their government to account until a bunch of students went around saying the emperor has no clothes caused this war to be prolonged. But the student demonstrations, I think, sent us a message we needed to get.
We always felt we brought an end to the war.
I think it helped. I really do. My brother was out there with me. I was very disappointed at the way things were going, but the draft was such an abomination in the way it was set up and administered that no one could have any faith in a government that would do that. The people in Vietnam that were fighting were doing their duty. It was tough duty. It was fatal duty for many, but students didn't have anything to do with that.
Would you like a cup of coffee?
I wondered if you were ever going to have it. I would have taken one when I came in.
Don't wait till we start without just have a glass of tea or something. Let's go chat with this lady.
I don't have my itinerary. One, two, three. Are you reading me okay now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a second here. Okay.
Good evening. I'm Major General Clay Comfort, Marine Corps retired. I'm here on behalf of the Clinton-Gore campaign this evening to talk to you supporters and cheer you on to victory, I hope, on Tuesday. I came to be involved in this effort as a result of having traveled to Philadelphia 2 weeks ago to join 20 colleagues of mine, retired admirals and generals, to meet with Governor Clinton and to endorse him and his candidacy for President of the United States. We believe that this election is about the future and that Governor Clinton can provide the leadership that this country needs to take us forward in the decade and into the 20th century. We don't believe that we can be strong militarily unless we fix the economic problems of this country and we repair the tears in our social fabric. Without those two fundamentals, we can have neither a strong foreign policy nor a strong military. We believe that Governor Clinton has first the energy and the intellect and the vision to do the job, but moreover he has the willingness to govern, the willingness to engage with legislators from either side of the aisle, with mayors, with governors, to solve those problems that sorely beset us. perhaps one of the strongest commendations that one can say about Governor Clinton is that he is endorsed so highly by his peers. He has a strong defense plan. He submitted it in December of last year to the public. I've had a chance to read it and to comment upon it. I've watched it evolve. It's in writing. It makes sense. It's supported by me and my colleagues. He believes that we must first continue to maintain our troops in the highest level of training, that we have to keep the morale high. We have to support them with the highest level of technology. We must have technological superiority. He believes that we must increase our strategic and tactical lift so that we can get our troops to the places where they may be called upon to go. And most of you recall that it took us 6 months to get ready for the Iraq-Iran war. We may not have that time again. Governor Clinton has shown that he can put people first. It's not enough to take what we have presently and work with it, but we have to bring all of our people into this equation. We can't continue to discard 30% of our population as productive citizens and then pay the attendant cost, the social costs that go with that, and expect to be competitive with the other industrialized nations. Governor Clinton is a people man. He knows how to bring the team together to come to solutions that will solve these problems. We believe very much that he is the leader that's our future and why we must vote for him, and we ask you to vote for him in this election. Now, it's hard to do it for me. I'm not practiced looking at a camera.
order. I come.
I want to thank my wife, Virginia, for putting up with me right back there. It's been a tough, hard-fought campaign. I'm not the candidate. I can't imagine what Hillary Clinton's feeling like, except for Gore. But I tell you what, we've had so much fun, and we've been able to get close to the American people in a way that I never dreamt I'd be able to, in behalf of Bill Clinton and Al Gore. Coming to Kansas was so important to us. All my life I've heard that Kansas was so predominantly Republican that when they were talking about sending us out on a trip, they called me and asked me if I'd take a trip to Louisiana. I thought, oh sure, I'd like to go down there and eat those frog legs and things like that. It got changed 2 or 3 times, and they said, well, we got to go to Kansas. I thought, gosh, we're going to have to be pretty mean to go over there. But I tell you what, y'all have treated us like gold. We love you. We might have said that before we came over here, but we can say it from the bottom of our hearts now, how good you've been to us. You know, we're very fortunate to have Governor Clinton in our state. All of the travelers, the 30 of us that are, give or take a few, that are here in Kansas and have been this week, all have a special relationship with Governor Clinton in one way or another. We've got one man that went to kindergarten with him. He's on the other tour right now, but he can tell you some real interesting stories about Bill Clinton. Myself, I've known him for 18 years personally, and I can tell you that this man is a man of vision. He's truly a leader. And you know, they've been bashing Arkansas and letting us have it for a long time down there. And, you know, it's bothered us that one of the states in this great country has had to take a beating because we've had the progressive leadership that we have had in the governor. We found a great deal of sentiment that has been sympathetic towards us, and that has happened. We want to tell you what you're going to hear from us tonight is a personal testimony about Bill Clinton and his leadership. Bill Clinton is going to be elected Tuesday night. Bill Clinton and Al Gore are going to Washington, and we're going to take this country back for the grassroots people of this country. This room's full of them right now. And I don't want you to let anybody diminish your enthusiasm for this campaign. Now listen, we're down to 3 days. We've got our work cut out for us. We're not taking anything for granted. That's why we're here in Kansas. We've driven today, I'll tell you what, I know we put 1,000 miles on since we left Joplin, making this big circle. And I tell you, we have got to hit it and hit it hard. Now I know every vote in here is going to go for Bill Clinton, everybody's 18 or above. But it's those folks out there that you can get a hold of, call, get in touch with them. Get them out to vote. We need it. The country needs it. We can't afford not to do it. So I ask you, go home, get on the telephone, call your kin folks, everybody you know. Let's get them out for this race. It's vitally important to all of us. I've got another friend here, Wes Edwards. Wes, come up here. I want you to make a little talk to these folks. And again, I want to thank you. God bless you. We're going in.
You guys are great. We have had a tremendous reception all the way across southern Kansas. Every town we've gone into, people have just been wonderful. This may be the best reception we've had so far. You know, sports analogies. Everybody likes sports analogies? and everybody likes sports analogies up here. It's the fourth quarter, folks. It's crunch time. All right? Now, if you watch a football game or a basketball game and they start the game's close and it's coming down to the end, what does that color commentator always say? Who's going to win this game? Who do you think is going to win this game? He says, you know who I think is going to win this game? I think the team that wants it the most is going to win this game. The team that has the desire for victory is going to win this game. I think Kansas is going to shock the nation on Tuesday, and they are going to show this nation that the Democrats in Kansas had more want to than the Republicans did. Why are we going to do this? Why is it crunch time? Well, I don't want to bring down the party, but let me just tell you a couple of things. because it is a serious event that we have on Tuesday. I heard somebody in Wichita tell me today that, you know, Kansas has the worst poverty rate than it's had since the late 1960s. Do you know that in America today, we have more people living in poverty than at any time since 1964 when Lyndon Johnson began the war on poverty? 40% of all people that live in poverty are children. 18% of our children live in poverty. 18%. 13 million children every day in this country do not have the basic amenities of life. Now, that's just a number, 13 million children. That is more than the combined population of Florida, Pennsylvania, and Illinois. Now, I guess if everyone in Florida was poor, the president might declare that a disaster area, wouldn't it? But we hadn't heard anything like that, have we? We have 135 children. 135 children take guns to school every day. In 1950, we had 3 policemen for every violent crime. Now it's just the opposite. We have 3 violent crimes for every policeman. There are 25 million Americans in this country who are functionally illiterate. We have 12 industrialized countries in the world with workforces that read better than we do. We can spend $500 million a day on Desert Storm, but folks, the last time I looked, Saddam Hussein still had a job. But since 1989, manufacturing jobs have dropped 1,388,000 in this country. There has been no net private sector job growth in this country during George Bush's administration. But guess what? For the last 2 years, Arkansas has led the nation in private sector job growth under Bill Clinton, and that's the truth about Bill Clinton's record in Arkansas. We spend $800 billion a year on health care, but what are we? 21st in the world in infant mortality. 35 million Americans that don't have basic health insurance coverage. Another 30 to 35 million that have inadequate health insurance. So 2 days, 3 days before this election, where are we? As far as I'm concerned, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the nightmare ending of the Reagan-Bush dream for America. That's where we are. Now with 3 days to go, here we are on Halloween night. You got to think of something to get fired up and go out here in the fourth quarter. You know, everybody has a go-to person on their team. In Los Angeles, it's Magic Johnson, and up in Chicago, it's Michael Jordan. But in the fourth quarter of this game, every one of you is a go-to person. Every one of you gets the ball between now and Tuesday. Every one of you has to score the points and do what Randy said. Get out the vote and call your friends. You don't need much sleep these next 2 days. Stay on that phone. It's important. I don't think we want to wake up and see a headline on Wednesday morning that says 4 more years. That's Halloween night. And I had to think of a metaphor, you know, for Halloween night and where we are. And all I could think of were all those Dracula movies. You know how everybody's saying, Mr. Bush, we hear all this negative stuff about Arkansas. Well, the travelers here to tell you the truth about Arkansas and about Bill Clinton. But where's your plan, Mr. President? Remember Dracula? He was the guy you held the mirror up to and there was no reflection. I'll tell you something else. Though he may have finally revealed himself and we got him chased up back in the castle there and we got him trapped, guess what, folks? We still got to pick up that steak and go finish the job. All right? Let's do it now. 3 more days. Let's go take some fucking back. Go do the half more. Thank you.
I'll just say just a couple words. I want to, on behalf of the state of Kansas and especially Ellis County and Northwest Kansas, we want to welcome you Arkansas travelers here. This is they do too. This is, I think, an indicator of what a winning team we've got. You know, there's nothing like this going on anywhere in Kansas or anybody else with Bill Clinton. And you bringing your message to Kansas is important to us. We think we're going to carry Kansas for Bill Clinton.
Amen. That's right.
Yeah, I think it does make a difference when people see folks who know personally a candidate who will come out and give a personal testimony about what they've seen in the way of leadership from that candidate. All of us that are Arkansas travelers, the 350 or so that have traveled the country, have seen some genuine leadership in Governor Bill Clinton, and we're very happy to come out here and work and try to elect him as President of the United States. We know that he can do the types of things for us in this entire country as we've seen in Arkansas. But we particularly appreciate the hospitality of the Kansans.
Okay, I'm an Arkansas traveler coming here to speak on behalf of Bill Clinton. And I've been a supporter of Bill Clinton since he's been our governor, and one of the main reasons is that I'm an educator. And I have seen what Bill and Hillary have done for education in Arkansas. They've introduced several programs, a hippie program, a reinforced Head Start. We have new standards in our schools, and we can see a significant improvement in our education. And that's one of the significant reasons. Another one is that I truly believe that Bill Clinton does have a vision, and I feel he has a vision of what he wants for this country. And I think he'll put all the energy he has into that, into seeing that things are turned around. Another interest of mine has been in health care. And we have a major problem in Arkansas with getting good health care for our citizens, as does the rest of the country. And that has been one of the emphasis, and I think he has some new ideas on what to do about health care. Okay.
I just want to say to the people of Kansas, to the people of Hayes, that the Arkansas Travelers have been going across Kansas for the last 2 days, and in every town in which we've been, what I've seen is a spirit of community, of togetherness, people that have hope for the future. We've had a great welcome. Bill Clinton and I grew up in Hot Springs, a town that's much like Coffeyville and Independence and Arkansas City. We've been to Winfield, we've been to Pratt and Dodge City and Garden City, and everywhere we've been, what we try to communicate with people is that these are the kinds of towns that Bill Clinton grew up in. They're towns where everybody pulls together and works together, where there's a real sense of community and a sense of togetherness. Bill Clinton is such a compassionate and caring and understanding person. There's no pretense about him. You know, if he were standing here talking to a foreign dignitary and a farmer were to come up and tap him on the shoulder with mud on his shoes, Bill would turn around, his expression wouldn't change a bit, his demeanor wouldn't change a bit. He's real people. He's just one of us. And Bill really cares about this country. He cares most of all about the children of this country, about their hope for the future, about their education, and about their chance to have a better life than their parents have, which after all is what the American dream is all about. So that's why the Arkansas Travelers are out traveling all over America and talking to people in towns like Hayes and other towns we'll be going to in Kansas this weekend, because we believe in Bill Clinton. We trust Bill Clinton. He's done a great job for the state of Arkansas, and he'll be a great president for this country. So we'll see you out on the road. Thanks. Choices between Roswell and Bill Clinton. What do you practical matter?
I've got an opponent. Hopefully like it. VP and Contruction, and he's running a write-in against me now. He can't win. They wouldn't require his name was on the ballot.
You know, and that's not to say that you don't respect the person's view, and I do. I respect you. Say I'm fed up with the system. Bill Clinton's fed up with the system too. He's not a Washington insider. He is someone that wants to reform government. He wants to limit campaign contributions. He wants to have lobbyists go to testify in the Congress before they open their mouth to disclose every one of the senators and representatives that their special interest gives money to. So the public has a record. These guys are testifying. Whose campaigns are you going?
Clinton may hire Perot to do work.
Well, Perot said the other day, what Perot said he wouldn't do it. Perot said, yeah, the other night Perot said, I think somebody asked him, either on Larry King or something, you know, would you accept a job in the Bush or Clinton cabinet? And he said, that doesn't mean he couldn't do some specific thing. I mean, like the MIA thing.
He's got some talent. He just hasn't got the
He can identify the problem, but of course John White, you know, who's his guru and wrote his United We Stand
economic plan is now he's going around the country this weekend continuing to endorse the Clinton-Gore ticket because he said the Perot plan is too strong. The country can't take it. It'll drive the economy into the ditch. It's going to keep unemployment going for 4 or 5 more years, 2 or 3 more years, whatever figure he used. We need jobs. We need economic stimulus right now. We need job creation. John White, the author of his plan, said the Clinton plan is the only one that's going to work. So, if that's not an endorsement, I don't know what. And everybody else says, well, Bill and George Bush were always turning around and saying, oh, Ross is right about this, Ross is right about that. You look at all of Perot's social policies on education, policies on health care. Bill Clinton has had policy statements on all of these that are exactly the same as what Perot is now advocating. But Bill Clinton was talking about this stuff a year ago before Ross Perot ever came on Larry King Line. It's not Bill Clinton who is in lockstep with Ross Perot. It's the other way around. Ross Perot is in lockstep with Bill Clinton.
Happened the same thing on my election. They asked me if I agreed with these policies, and I said I did. And they said, well, those are your opponent's policies, so you're saying you agree with your opponent. And I said, sure, because it's the right thing.
Yeah.
And I said it before, and I'll say it again, it's the right thing. So I don't agree with him or disagree. It's the right thing, and that's what I believe in.
Well, good luck on your election.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Fun doing it.
What?
The only question is, work on the they just want to keep not that they want to, it's a society, it's a system, so much stuff that can they change because of the way the capital goes, no one wants to work together.
Well, no, that's an interesting question. You know what the answer to that? I don't know what the answer to that is.
Who knows?
Well, let me tell you something. What do people want? People say, I want a balanced budget amendment. George Bush, I want a balanced budget amendment. Gee, George, why don't you try to submit a balanced budget? Do you know George Bush tried to outspend the Congress 2 times? That's pretty hard to do. But he submitted budgets to the Congress that 2/3 of the Republicans rejected, said this is ridiculous. He can't submit. He has no discipline. Bill Clinton has balanced 12 state budgets. He's had to cut spending in Arkansas during the presidential campaign because the revenue's not coming in.
But what I'm saying is, anyone, it doesn't matter who the candidate is, are they going to be able to put something through there that everyone's going to agree with as far as Congress?
Well, I think,
that's the thing. They're going to be able to work on it.
That's one aspect of what Bill is. I mean, people say, well, he's a politician, he compromises, but his nature is to try to bring people together, to forge compromise, to do something and move forward. Not to sit here and polarize people and say, well, you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you stand over there, I'll stand over here, and we'll just blink, we'll just wait to see who blinks. That's not his nature. What he wants to do is get people together. He said, I want Republicans in my cabinet, I want Democrats, I want independents, and I want people that are going to make this thing work. The other thing is term limits. Let's talk about term limits. Right, term limits. Well, isn't there a term? Don't we have a term limit in this country? What's the term limit? Every 2 years, you get to vote the guy out if he's not doing any good. Why do we need legislative term limits on representatives? What does Bill Clinton say? Bill Clinton says this: let's have congressional campaign reform. Let's open up the airwaves. We're sitting here talking on this. Let's open up the airwaves so a challenger can have the same access to public debate that an incumbent has. Now, that's going to level the playing field quite a bit. Let's limit the amount you can spend on congressional campaigns. Let's reduce the amount of PAC money that can be contributed from 5,000 to 1,000. But open up the airwaves and allow free debate. Let people examine the record of their car. Look what he said in that debate the other night in Richmond. In Richmond, he said to someone asked him a question. He said, look, if I don't do what I say I'm going to do, if you don't like what I've done in 4 years, you'll have an opportunity to vote me out of office, and I hope you do. That's what he said. Now, how many politicians have you heard stand up and say, get rid of me if I'm not any good? Well, but he said it, and I mean, how can you tell? What's he going to do? Come back and say, well, I didn't really mean don't vote me out. He's going to say, he said, vote me out, folks.
Bush, gets in there and says about taxes, that's the problem, I hope.
Well, the mistake that Bush made with read my lips was he said read my lips so he could get elected. That's the mistake he made.
Exactly. Regardless, he lied anyway, but that's the thing, and it's, of course, that job is easier said than done.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
There's so many barriers.
Of course it is. There's no question about it. But
whoever gets it needs to be able to not worry about 4 more years later, worry about the job anyway.
Well, I think the statement that Clinton made at that debate tells the American people that he's not worried about 4 more years after. If I've done a great job, you have a chance to reelect me. If I'm headed, send me packing.
Because some of the things that they have to do is not going to be popular.
There's no question about it. You asked the question about the debt and the deficit. It's a hard problem. I mean, the problem is first you got to grow the economy. You have to bring in revenue so you can get the deficit down. I mean, we have a deficit that's been created. I saw the Wichita. What's the Wichita paper? The Star? Eagle. They had a graph that came out in, I guess, last Sunday's paper about the deficit since Kennedy or since Truman, and it just shows this line that is negligible until you get to Reagan and Bush, and there's this graph that shows this huge debt that we've created in the last 12 years. You can't solve that overnight, especially when you have an economy that's in the ditch. You have to grow the economy, you have to create jobs, you have to get tax revenue because of job creation, because of business development, and you have to cut spending. You have to cut spending. Clinton is not a tax and spend Democrat. He's got programs. He said if the revenue's not there, then we get spending cut, we cut those programs, or we cut spending from somewhere else.
But if you can get that done, he can say to anyone that's up there, they can get that done.
Well,
that's one of the barriers I think.
That's why what we want is a huge turnout and a big vote. We want the people to say to Washington, look, we're putting this guy in here because this is his plan and we want him to go do it. You know, so I think whether it's, look, I don't know how much Perot is going to draw in this election, but there's still going to be, I mean, that's going to be a vote that says we want change and we want fiscal responsibility and we want governmental responsibility and all that. I mean, you can add that as sort of the mandate, you know, in terms of anti-status quo vote. So it's just a question of is the Congress going to wake up, get its act together, and again, term limits. Everybody, you have that franchise every 2 years. You can run them out of town if they don't do the job. So, and the only thing you have to do is decrease the incumbency advantage, which allows an incumbent, you know, you just build up so much of a war chest that the challenger just can't compete with you in terms of media ads and all that. That's where we are. What? Tuesday. What? Tuesday. We'll all be in Little Rock. You sent him a deer?
Yeah, with a light in the nose. I got a copyright on it.
Electric Rudolph?
Nationwide.
What is this?
This is a deer.
It's an electric Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer.
I want to create jobs.
Create jobs. You're a small businessman, and you're doing an electric Rudolph. Now, what do you want me to do with this card?
You see a bill.
Yes.
I've already sent him a deer. He's already sent me a little bag.
He has a deer.
I sent him
a deer. Okay.
Back in August.
So I'm going to say I met the deer guy.
Right. I had on the Clinton and Gore, hope on one side, vision on the other.
I love it.
And love. Just tell me that.
That's great. All right, I will.
Tell me that.
Your Earth?
And tell him I make the walking sticks.
How do you say this? What? Gore. All right, I'll tell him I met you. It's right here. What?
Don't pull my leg. Tell me that I put on there, I had on there Clinton and Gore, 92, hope on one side, vision. He'll show it to you. And what I want to do, over here, cut to get the inching it like a mummy.
Fort Hays State President Edward Hammond commented on the governor won't be released until tomorrow. Preliminary indications are that spring enrollment at Fort Hays is up more than 120 on-campus students. That's comparable to the large fall increase. Elected Ellis County round of winter storms is making driving difficult in western Kansas. Some icy conditions this morning on roadways apparently caused the driver of a Colorado van to lose control of the vehicle as it was traveling east on Interstate 70 at the Hays West exit. The van rolled at least once, ejecting the 2 occupants. Also, the weather's forced the cancellation or postponements of most area activities and athletic events tonight. However, the Hays Chamber of Commerce annual banquet.
But this is what we heard and saw today as the ice turned to slush. And the reason was a very slight change of temperature. Good evening, I'm Roger Pony.
And I'm Cindy Close. Thank you for being with us tonight. What's your preference, ice or snow? As Bryce Madison shows us, each offering from Mother Nature has its own risks.
A winter wonderland in Wichita? Hardly, at least for those who have to travel in it. Scraping snow and ice off windshields has been only the battle. Driving on the stuff has been the war, though a mild war for some.
It's not so bad. A little ice covered from Wisconsin, so I can handle a little bit more than most. So, but I expect to see a few crashes today, if anything.
When the van went out of control, it hit this car then.
Wistman would not have been disappointed with this 3-vehicle accident on Kellogg. The drivers blame snowplows for leaving a slushy mess between lanes.
They've been just piling it up right in the middle of the road, so the cars are going right over it, and they're sliding around. When they hit that, they're sliding, so it's just not knowing where they're moving the snow over to is what the problem was here in this accident.
Or this 2-truck crash on I-135. Highway patrol troopers blamed overconfident drivers going too fast for road conditions.
Actually, the snowfall is a bit of a blessing for motorists. It's providing traction for the wheels and covering up the ice, but underneath that ice is still there and can still pose a big problem.
Especially if what's left of the snow and ice refreezes tonight as expected.
That slush will become glazed ice. It will be packed down by numerous vehicles and it will become extremely icy. Then if we have a little bit of mist on top of that, it'll be very, very dangerous.
Bryce Madison, Eyewitness News, Wichita.
No one was hurt in either of the accidents.
It's not just the streets that are slick. If you spend any time in a parking lot today, you know that they're nearly as dangerous. Cy Bolton has the story of parking lot cleanup.
At Town West Square, plows have been working overtime to keep the parking lot clear of snow, ice, and slush. Fact is, they own their own equipment and have fairly specific guidelines for when they use it.
We're really trying to make it more convenient for the shoppers to go ahead, even though maybe some of the side streets aren't real clean. It's clean out here where they can get in and it's convenient for them to continue shopping.
When conditions get real bad, like the 7 inches we got 2 weeks ago, Town West rents heavy-duty high loaders and graders, as opposed to running their own smaller tractors.
The reasons for keeping the parking lot clear are simple. More customers will turn out if there's easy access to parking spots and a safe walkway into the shops.
Like other businesses, Town West management has brought in sand and salt, 8 tons of it for the parking lot and sidewalks. It's all called customer relations.
If we clear the lot and it's clean, it's going to be more inviting for the customers to go ahead and come on out and shop with us.
Unfortunately, Town West is running dangerously close to using up all their foul weather funds, and it's only mid-January. Cy Bolton, Eyewitness News in Wichita.
Given a few days, the rising temperatures, we hope, should help the problem. Cindy?
The slow going on the streets, though, is hurting some local businesses. If drivers aren't getting out any more than they have to, they definitely aren't shopping. Kim Setti is live outside a local shopping center with more on how bad it really is. Kim?
I'll tell you what, Cindy, the past few nights we've been talking a lot about traffic, the kind we're seeing on the streets here, but retailers behind me are worried about another kind of traffic, and that's the kind of traffic they're not seeing come through their stores. In fact, some of them say you can track the past few storms we've had just by taking a look at their sales charts the past 3 weeks. This kind of weather gives some workers more than they can handle. But that's not the case at the second story. Ever since the first ice and snow of the season hit, just about the only eyes looking around the clothing store are on the mannequins.
I'm going to say we average 100, 125 people comes through our doors a day, and we're averaging now about 8.
And she's not alone. Other businesses say when the weather turns bad, they don't have customers walk in the door either. If they don't walk in the door, they don't buy. And that's definitely not music to their ears. In fact, this music store has been too quiet the past 3 weeks. The owner can tell that from his wallet.
Some days it's cutting us to half the volume, 50% of the volume. And I'd say that that's on all 3 of our stores.
The most frustrating part is the fact that the owners have no control over it. But they may be able to brace themselves for what's to come just by watching the 5-day forecast. And you know, you have to admit the retailers say that this is a slower time of the year than the one we just got through with, the Christmas shopping season. But they said if you take a look at this year's sales after Christmas versus the past couple of years, there's no comparison. And the whole thing follows the weather cycle we've been having the past couple of weeks. Cindy?
Kim Setti reporting live. Roger.
The nasty weather conditions are affecting construction of the Kellogg flyover project, but the project is still operating slightly ahead of schedule. The bridge over downtown is expected to be completed by December of 1994. However, the weather hasn't been the only headache for construction crews. Safety also became an issue after a crane tipped over at Kellogg and Broadway last October, killing a motorist. Construction officials say despite their best efforts, they can't always eliminate human error.
And retrain them. We had extensive safety meetings concerning what did happen in those areas, and we feel we've taken all the measures necessary to prevent that from ever happening again.
Greer went on to say the West Kellogg reconstruction project is also moving along slightly ahead of schedule. You should be able to drive on the newly constructed roadways there by July or August.
Wichita City Council members today got a close-up look at Wichita's historic Campbell Castle, also known as Crum Castle. They wanted to see for themselves just how bad the condition of the castle is before they vote on whether to allow it to be demolished. May Crum, owner of the building, claims she can't afford to maintain it, and she wants to tear down the 104-year-old castle.
Basically, we're trying to look and see whether it is worth saving, and I think it definitely is. It's something that part of Wichita's history, and it's something that we ought to hold on to.
They don't live here. It needs so much work, and it really is getting to where in some places it's just not safe, and it will get worse.
Estimates indicate it could cost close to $800,000 to restore the castle and its coach house. Council members say they will likely decide next week how to deal with Campbell Castle.
Wichita police now say the man found dead in yesterday's house fire had been murdered. Homicide detectives had been called in to investigate the death of 73-year-old Charlie Pettigrew. Fire crews found Pettigrew's body while extinguishing a fire in his home. Detectives say Pettigrew, who lived alone, was shot and killed before the fire. They believe robbery could have been the motive. Pettigrew was Wichita's 3rd murder victim of 1993.
In just a few minutes, we'll hear good news from Merrill Teller.
And we'll hear the best way to keep warm from someone who should know.
Here at Eddie's Toyota, the Kansas City region has challenged us to sell more cars than ever in 1993. We accept the challenge, and here's how we're going to do it. Starting off with a special lease program in the all-new and improved Corolla, just $179 per month. And best of all, that's zero money down for 48 months. And these Corollas are nicely equipped with air conditioning, power steering, and stereos right here at Eddie's on the Stevens side of the street.
Tonight, we're going to party down. I found balloons, a rock and roll sound system, a mirrored ball, and a nifty ice sculpture in the shape of the Alamo. All at Swabibs, Southwestern Bell Yellow Pages.
Swabibs, where people get what they want.
It's going to be a wild party. I can't think of anything I've forgotten.
Swabibs.
Hi everybody, Julie Becker here at Stephen Chrysler Plymouth, where we're out to make January our biggest van month ever. And we're going to do that with the #1 selling minivan in America, the Plymouth Voyager. Right now we have Voyagers starting as low as $12,999. That's for a brand new Voyager. And don't forget, all Voyagers have front wheel drive to really get through the snow for you. So remember, for service, selection, and savings,
Why don't you go ahead and get your drug dog? I think we got some drugs in here. First aid. Got some first aid. Probably got some drugs here.
Are we making aware that there is alcohol in the vehicle?
Okay, Terry, just get you back. Shot this.
Yep. Okay, you get to this one.
What we're going to do is have this officer talk with you. He needs to ask you a few questions about the accident, all right? Okay. Why don't you go ahead and go with him? Come on, Eddie. Why don't you bring some dog down? All right. Come on. Get it?
Get her out there. Come on, that's the girl. Come on, that's the girl. Get it. Come on, get it. Get it. Come on, that's it. Come on. Get it out there. Come on, get it. That's a girl.
Back seat. Right back in there?
Yeah.
Okay. Got the pipe. And we've got the drugs. Right there behind the seat.
Good girl. Good girl.
We got the drugs right over here. Looks like we got 2 bags. There's 1, 2, and the pipe in the back seat.
Girl. That's my girl.
Set up over the union.
Okay, that's okay. Okay, I have another test. Okay. This is going to be the finger to nose test. Okay. What I need to have you do, get straight, is I need to have you stand. Put your head back. Close your eyes. Just watch while I explain. Put your hands out to your side. You clench your fist. Put your index fingers out. First, with your right hand, you need to have you touch your nose. Okay, like this. Okay? And I need to have you do it with your right. Okay? Do you understand? Okay, Abe, whenever you're ready, you understood the instructions. Okay, you did a good job there. Appreciate your cooperation. Okay, we have one other test. Would you consent? Okay. 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 What I'm going to have you do is I'm going to check this. Okay. We're looking good there. Okay. What I'm going to have you do, I need to have you blow through there and take a deep lung sample. Okay. I need to go deep into your lungs and I want you to blow through here. Okay. Blow through this mouthpiece and I'll tell you when to stop. Okay. Are you okay? Okay. Okay. Are you ready? Okay, now I want you to blow through there. Okay, I'm going to tell you to blow. Blow, blow. Blow, 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 blow. Okay. Okay. Okay, all the tests what we're going to have to do, we're going to transport you to the noise to get information under rest. Okay, and we'll go up and we'll do further testing at the law enforcement center. I'm gonna have to handcuff. Okay, that's just one of our procedures. Okay, so if I could get you to step over here.
Other than the obvious. Check it or not.
Okay. Okay.
He looks pretty pale. Still fall in there. Yep, I'm fine.
Take that green bag over to if you want.
tall is that scout? 30 feet?
I guess 30 feet. That's what I was just about to say.
It'd be a ways to follow.
A rude awakening.
Good going up there, Lily. Oh, yeah. up over here.
631-10-6, go ahead, transport out.
All right. Okay. It's already up, Chris.
I didn't see anybody.
Is it hot or something? We're not taking it hot.
519, try type 1. That's operation.
Here's the pot. Why don't we put that underneath and we'll just go straight down with the pot?
We got him, Petey.
Pretty much, or as close as we can. So,
Rita, we got plenty of people.
okay.
You run to the seats and all that, haven't you?
We don't care. Well, I'm going to go. Should we go this way?
Rita, you got a better view of this.
I know, and I'm looking. Okay. I don't want to get caught because I know this KD's going to get caught on.
Yeah, we got a power pole that's been hit, and an overhead light is out here on the beam in the bypass. We'll notify Midwest Energy and City Shop.
One more. We okay?
Yeah, we're in good shape.
Okay.
Tell him he's going to have a falling sensation.
Okay, you're going to have a falling sensation, okay? There's plenty of guys down here, okay? Let's go.
I had him when they said that.
What are you doing, Mike?
I got the shoulders.
Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Yes, sir.
have the whole time?